Yeah, guys. So what we discussed in the previous class, guys. So what we discussed in the previous class.
AIML groups అది
AML.
యాక్సెస్ key, security key service.
Yeah, IAM. Identity and access management. What is that? Identity and access management. So what is that? So we can connect the AWS in two ways. So one is console way, other one is GUI and CLI. Okay. What is that? GUI and CLI. AWS CLI. So GUI is nothing but a console. CLI is nothing but a AWS through AWS CLI within connect. Okay. So this is AWS Cloud. So we can connect in two ways. So you already know how to GUI. So GUI, so we can connect as a IAM or a root user. So CLI, how you can connect? We can connect using secret, secret key, access key. Okay. So we already created the access key secret for the key for the BlueJTech user, right? So okay, we can use that secret key access key and so we can connect the AWS console. Let's see. Hmm? Okay, how to connect the AWS CLI? Yeah, we need to download the AWS CLI version, right? So what is that? The software we need to install and we need an access key, secret key, right? Yeah. So what is that? Installing and updating the latest version of AWS CLI. So install the past release AWS and uninstall the instructions. So AWS CLI version, AWS CLI installing on the Windows. Download and run the AWS CLI MSA installer for Windows. Okay. Yeah, this is the step, guys. What is this step? So we need to download this first. Okay. That's it. We already done the IAM, right? DLL Windows. Mm, what is that? So Windows Mission. So how to download, guys? How to download the AWS CLI? How to download AWS CLI? What is that? Step one. So this is copy link address and click it. It will automatically download. Okay. This is the step two. What is the step two, guys? Step two is nothing but a step one. Alternatively, run the basic command on the runway installer. Okay, we can run this. What is this? So for your for various parameters, you can use the Microsoft DOS website. Example, you can use the QL. No need that. So to confirm the installation, open the start menu. Step number two is command. What is this? This is the command. Okay, this is the command. So once you install, right? Yeah, this is the way to install the AWS CLI. Then I will tell you how to connect it. Okay. So you already downloaded, right? That MSA AWS CLI.me. So you can run the msa command on the to run the MSA installer. CMD command from this. Users, what it is showing, this app is not run on Windows. So let's wait. So download the run the installer on Windows 64-bit. Alternatively, you can run this command. We go to just you can run it here also. So welcome to AWS command line interface at a wizard. Please wait. So we will set up a wizard interface to you through the installation, migrate to feature states from related applications. Yeah. So once you click right, it will next accept next install. Yes. What this is, guys? This is a .msa, right? We already downloaded that file, so we don't need to run here. Just click the double click, it will automatically install, guys. Okay, so once the installation is completed, they will write. Okay, so step one and step two. Okay, so this is the way, or else, so this is the way you can install this. Yeah, how to check AWS version. So what is the AWS version installed? Can you check uh, from yeah, AWS CLI 2.2748 Python is installed. Okay, Python is installed. Yeah, access key and secret key. We download the access key and secret key yesterday, right? The user downloaded, yeah, blujaytech access key and secret key. What this is? This is an access key. This is the access key and this is the secret. Okay. So step one. So the install, download and install the AWS CLI. Then so create a user. What is that? Yeah. So we already created the AWS user, BlueJet user, right? So what is that? Go to AWS console, right? HTTPS colon double slash AWS dot majon dot com slash console, right? So go to this and this is the second point there, second way. Navigate to IAM, then users, click on the users, click users. What is the third one, guys? Third point, create a new user with programmatic, programmatic access. So fourth one, what is the fourth one, guys? Attach appropriate, appropriate permissions. Example, administrator access. Okay. administrator access for full control. Okay, administrator access for full control. So then fifth one is download download the please result. This PI. Next second one is understood the secret key ID. Next sixth one. Next configure AWS CLI. So configure AWS CLI. So how to configure guys? So you can use the AWS configure AWS AWS configure command. So in the AWS configure command, so what you need to provide? So you need to provide the AWS access key ID. It is asking access key ID. So I will post it. I will paste it guys. What is the command guys? In the command from CMD. The command from what you can do? You can do the AWS configure or so you can provide the access key and secret. AWS on yeah, what it is asking AWS access key. What is it is? It is asking AWS access key. So this is the AWS access key and secret key. AWS access key and secret key. So what is that? US East one default US East one. We want to connect a JSON. Okay. So this is the format written use case. What is this? It is asking the AWS access key and the secret key. You need to provide the AWS access key and the secret key region. Please understood? So this is the AWS configure. So verify the connection. So how to verify the connection? Verify the AWS connection. Verify the AWS connection. How to verify? So the AWS S3 LS S3 LS or okay. So EC2 verify. How we can verify the EC2 AWS EC2 describe instances. So okay. Describe instances. Okay. So let's verify. What is this? AWS S3 LS. So my TF test bucket batch 54 is there. My TF test bucket batch 54 is there. And Linux, is there any instances AWS EC2 describe underscore instance. Yeah, you see. So reservation ID, owner, instances, volume token, instance association, description, IPv4, IPv6, root device. So so we don't need this much, right? We need something like so instances detail in our account and region. So we need to get the instant details and the region. How we can check it? Yeah. So what is that? AWS EC2 describe instances hyphen query. So we are querying that reservations star instances star ID instance ID state name state dot name type equal to instances. So placement availability zone and output to table. So we need to provide it in the table. So what is the so aged US is to 1D and the ID instance ID this is state is running T2 micro. State is running T2 micro. Guys understood what this is? So list of this is list all EC2 instances. List all EC2 instances. List or S3 buckets. Okay, list all S3 buckets. List all EC2 instances. And wait, this is all EC2 instance details. Your account and initial and to get the table format. Understood? To get the table format. Understood, guys? So just I want to list the instance IDs. List easy to instance IDs only. Or you can list, guys. You can list the IDs here. What is this? Is the command AWS instead describe query reservations and instances. Instance dot instance ID. Instance ID F1 output equal to text instance ID. Okay, so we are getting only instance ID. So if you want to get a specific instance info, AWS EC2 describe Hyphen instance IDs, instance ID. You see, this is the instance ID description. Get specific instance info. Get specific instance info. AWS describe icon describe icon instance icon IDs instance ID. What is that? Instance ID. Understood? So how you can check the instance status if you know the instance ID, so you can use it. So start to reboot the EC2 instances. What you are doing manually, you are right? To start stop or the reboot EC2. How to stop reboot instance guys? AWS EC2 start instances hyphen instance IDs instance ID. Is that? So this is the command. So how to stop guys? Stop instance. Stop instance. So, okay. Stop instances. Instance ID. So reboot you already know, right? So these are the commands of the instances. This is the command of the instances. Please understood? So how you can connect AWS through? How you can connect AWS CLI, AWS Cloud through CLI. Guys, understood?
Yes, sir.
Guys,
Yes, sir. Understood.
understood, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. So the next, yeah, I want to, yeah, I want to build the infra through Terraform, right? So what is that IAC tool? What we are discussing in the DevOps tool, DevOps IAC tool, Terraform. What is the Terraform? Terraform is a IAC tool. IAC means infra as a code. Infrastructure as code. So we want to build the infra through code. So every cloud provider having their own IAC tools, but Terraform is the common IAC tool for it. Terraform is the common tool for common IAC tool. So what is that? Registry dot terraform dot io. So what is that? So this is the Terraform. Terraform is the HashiCorp provided. So browse providers. Yeah. So this Terraform supports AWS, Azure, Google, Kubernetes. What is that? So that it supports so AWS, Azure, Google, Kubernetes, Alibaba, Oracle Cloud. You see how many? So 5,240 providers. So partner providers and that providers. Okay. So these all are the providers. So how many providers it supports? 5,246 providers. Okay. If you learn any one of if you learn the Terraform, it will be easy to build the infra through Terraform. So Azure having ARM, AWS having cloud formation template, Google Cloud having some other, right? GCP is it to so infrastructure as a code. This is also provides a infrastructure as a code, IAC tool. So explore the infrastructure as code in Google. So recommendations for infrastructure as a code. So infrastructure managed is managed by the service to automate the deployment and management Google Cloud infrastructure resources. Infrastructure is defined to a Terraform using infrastructure is defined using Terraform and deployed onto the Google Cloud by Infra Manager, enabling you to manage resources using infrastructure as a code. So this is also using the Terraform. Okay. So this is also using the Terraform. Okay. So you can use the IAC Terraform and we can build the infra. So whatever the services we are creating manually, what are the services we are creating manually? So we can create the same services, we can access so we can create the same services through Terraform. So manual services, manually through Terraform. So manually through Terraform. For example, what are the services? EC2 service. We need to create a EC2 service. S3 service. UPC service, RTS service, all the services. So manually we can build it. The same services we can build it in the automation through Terraform. Okay, all not only these services, all the services we can build, all the services we can build it in the through Terraform. Guys, understood? So what is that? IAC a tool. What is the tool? IAC tool. IAC tools. Okay. What is IAC? IAC is nothing but a infrastructure as a code. Exploring the tool sets, there are various types of tools that can allow you to deploy infrastructure as a code. What is that? Exploring tool sets, there are various types of tools. There are various types of tools that can allow you to deploy infrastructure as a code. There are various types of tools that can allow you to deploy infrastructure as a code. So what is the tool? So Terraform. What is that? So Terraform, CloudFormation, Heat, Ansible, SaltStack, Chef, Puppet, and others. What are those? So Terraform, CloudFormation, Heat, Ansible, SaltStack, Chef, Puppet, and others. So there are various types of tools that can allow you to deploy infrastructure as a code. So configuration management versus infrastructure orchestration. What this is? IAC is nothing but a infra as a code. Infra as a code is nothing but a infrastructure orchestration. What that is? So infrastructure orchestration. So Ansible, Chef, Puppet are the configuration. What are those? Ansible, Chef, Puppet are the configuration management tools, which means that they are primarily designed to install and manage software on existing servers. What is that? So infrastructure orchestration, Ansible, Chef, Puppet are configuration management tools, which means that they are primarily designed to install and manage software on existing servers. Existing servers. These all are the Chef, Ansible, Puppet are the configuration management tools, which means that they are primarily designed to install and manage software on existing servers. Manage software on existing servers means so once the infra is built, So the Ansible, Chef, Puppet, these all are. So if you want to install the Java Tomcat on 100 servers, so we can use the Ansible. So this is the configuration management. So the configuration management is once the infra is built, so we can do the configuration. So what are the configurations? App configuration, application configurations. Application configuration is nothing but a install Java, Tomcat, right? These all are the application management. These are application configuration. This is a configuration management. Okay. So Ansible, Chef, Puppet are the configuration management tools, which means that they are primarily designed to install and manage software on existing servers. So Terraform, CloudFormation are the infrastructure orchestration tools. What is that? So Terraform, CloudFormation are the infrastructure orchestration tools, which basically means that they are provision the servers and infrastructure by themselves. So what is that, guys? So Terraform, CloudFormation are the infrastructure orchestration tools, which basically means they can provision the servers and infrastructure by themselves. So configuration management tools. So configuration management tools can do some degree of infrastructure provisioning, but the focus here is that some of the tools are going to better fit for certain types of tasks. What is this? Terraform, CloudFormation are the infrastructure orchestration tools, which basically means infrastructure orchestration tools, which basically means that they can provision the servers and infrastructure by themselves. So configuration management tools can do some degree of infrastructure provisioning, but the focus here is that some tools are going to better fit for certain types of tasks. Which one? So configuration management as Ansible, Chef, Puppet, and the infrastructure management is Terraform and Cloud Formation. Okay, so some of the tools are better fit for the certain type of tasks. What is this? IAC infra as a code and configuration management both are friends. Both are friends because of once we build the infra through the Terraform, so we need to install the Tomcat, Java, and application configuration management. We need to configure the application, right? So how you can configure? So we can configure by using Ansible. So right. So this is the first server.tf. .tf is nothing but a Terraform extension. What is the Terraform extension, guys? .tf. So Terraform extension. So create a new EC2 instance. EC2 is running. Okay. Once the EC2 instance is running through the Terraform, so it's saying something like it is EC2 is running. Then Terraform will tell to Ansible, you can install and configure the application. What is that? You can install and configure the application. Okay. So Terraform supports the multiple platforms, has hundreds of providers. What is that? So Terraform supports multiple platforms, has hundreds of providers. So simple configuration learning and faster learning curve, simple configuration language and faster learning curve. Easy integration with the configuration management tools like Ansible, easily extensible with the help of plugins. Easily extensible with the help of plugins. Supports multiple platforms. It supports multiple platforms as hundreds of providers. Simple configuration language and faster learning curve, easy to integration with the configuration management tool like Ansible, and easily extensible with the help of plugins. Easily extensible with the help of plugins. So installing the Terraform. How you can install the Terraform? So overview of a installation process. Terraform installation is very simple. You have a single binary file, download it and use it. Just use it, download it and use it. No need to install anything. Supported platforms. Terraform works on multiple platforms. This includes Terraform works on multiple platforms. This includes it will work on Windows, Mac, Linux, FreeBSD, OpenBSD, Solaris. So everywhere the Terraform will work. Okay. So download Terraform. So how to download the Terraform? So terraform.io downloads. You can download the Terraform 1.2.8 or something like latest version, or you can use the download. Okay, so this is the a Terraform setting up lab. How to set up the lab? So you already create the new AWS account. Yeah, your AWS account is here. So begin the course. So first EC2 instance with the Terraform. How you can build the first EC2 instance with the Terraform? Okay, so launching first EC2 instance via Terraform. I want to launch the first EC2 instance via Terraform. So Terraform is nothing but a infra as a code. So we can build the infra. We can build the infra EC2 service through code. So before what we did manually install the EC2 service. Now, so we want to, so when you want to launch a resources in AWS, there are three important considerations. What are those? There are three important considerations. One is how will you authenticate to AWS? How will you authenticate to AWS, guys? How will you authenticate with AWS? You can authenticate with AWS through access key and secret key. Right, guys? Right.
Yes.
So how will you authenticate with AWS? You can authenticate with AWS through access key and secret key. We have an access key and secret key. Then only we can connect through AWS CLI. So through CLI, which region the resources need to be launched? Which region the resources need to be launched? Which region the resources need to be launched? Which region EC2 or something like EC2, EC2 or something like this is not it is US East one APAC EMEA MR. So if you want to use a APAC MR EMEA APAC MR EMEA APAC MR EMEA. Okay. Yeah. So which resource you want to launch? So which resource you want to launch? For example, I want to launch the EC2 instances, 3 bucket or VPC or something like RDS or something like a subnet or whatever the instances we resource we need to launch. So something like a Terraform, launch EC2, so no auth, no launch. So if you don't have a authentication, it will not launch. It will not launch. How your first EC2 contains. So what is this? This is the first EC2 Terraform file. So this is the first server Terraform file .tf contains. What it contains? It contains the provider, which provider you want to install the AWS. In which provider you want to install the that EC2 instances or something like a VM or a service. In which provider you want to build the service. You want to build the service through Terraform in the which providers. The provider should be a AWS, the provider should be Azure, the provider should be GCP, the provider should be Oracle, the provider should be Azure, IBM or something like whatever the cloud, guys. So region is in which region you want to build the infra. So how you can authenticate with the AWS or a Azure or a GCP, right? You can authenticate with the AWS access key and secret key. We need a access key and secret key. Resources. What are the resources? A resource is nothing but a service. What are the services? AWS EC2 instances, EC2 service, S3 service, RDS service, VP service. These all are the services, guys. Guys, one second. Right, how you can authenticate with the AWS? We can authenticate with the AWS through region, access key and secret key resources. You see, guys, what is the block? This is the block. Block resource is nothing but a EC2 or S3, VPC, whatever it may be. What is that? The resource is nothing but a VPC or whatever it may be. I will, yeah. For example, AWS. This is so. What this is? This is a AWS authentication. If you go to the documentation, so in the documentation, you can see the resources. So for example, so EC2 instance. What is that? EC2 instance, right? So Elastic Compute Cloud. So these all are the resources. How you can install you need a AWS EC2 instance. AWS instance. So what this is the resource. So what this is a resource. So in this resource contains a resource. So resource name and resource name and resource. So you can provide this. This is the block of the resource. So same like as a S3 bucket, same like as a everything they are provided the resources. No need to go to everything. They are providing everything the resources. You can go to here, whatever the resources you want to, you can go to here and you can you can take it and build the infra. You can take it and build the infra. Guys, understood? So this is nothing but a resource. A resource in the resources we need to provide the AMI and instance type. All are optional. Remaining all are optional. Easy? So is it easy? So if you want to launch a EC2 instance, we need just the resources. What is the resources? Each provider has resources divided into multiple categories. What is this? Provider. Provider is nothing but a AWS, Azure, all these has resources divided into multiple categories. Resources require certain set of arguments based on the use case. Resources require set of arguments, AMI, instance ID. Some of the arguments are optional, some of the arguments are required. The required arguments need to mention, the optional will not take it. Okay. So providers and resources. Terraform supports multiple providers depending on the what type of infrastructure we want to launch. We have to use appropriate providers accordingly. So upon adding the provider, it's important to run Terraform init. I will tell you tomorrow, guys. This will tell you tomorrow. Okay. Understood, guys? Deep వెళ్ళిపోతున్నామా? Easy?
Yeah, no, it's easy. Like,
Okay, thank you.